Okay, ask Amrita Nair to join from live stream link. Okay, I don't know what was the problem. She has left or some technical issues. All right. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. We will be discussing bridges today. All right. So, I hope you might have heard about Wheatstone Bridge and Kelvin Bridge. So, today in this session, we will go through how to conduct experiment to measure unknown resistance using Wheatstone Bridge and Kelvin Bridge. All right. So when we say bridge, I hope you might be aware that it's a circuit or a combination of resistors where typically the Wheatstone Bridge layout would be something like this, where it has 4 arms. In each arm, you will connect resistors. Say we say this is series of resistors connected in this network form, all right? And in one of the arms, you will have unknown resistance, okay? So generally, as the statement here on the slide says, the bridge is used. Generally, the bridges are used to measure the unknown resistance, or say if you know some resistance and if there is variation in the resistance, to measure the small changes in the resistance, we will be typically using bridges. All right. So a general statement would be Wheatstone Bridge is a bridge or a network which is used to measure small resistance changes. All right. So how do we do that? As I said, the network connection would be like this. In each arm of the resistor, you'll be connecting resistors. Please stop me if I'm not audible or if there is any problem. Okay, just unmute yourself and speak up. Is it fine? Okay. So in one of the arms, you will connect your unknown resistance, whose resistance you want to measure, right? So the concept used here is you will connect. Generally, these Wheatstone Bridge and Kelvin Bridge, they're called DC bridges because DC supply will be connected to it. Okay, so to one point A and B, you will apply DC voltages, all right, and you will look for or you will check for this voltage across C point and D. Okay, so you want to observe a condition where the voltage drop across C and D will be same, which means to say that the voltage across C and voltage across D should be same. Okay, then we say that the bridge is in balanced condition. All right. In other ways to put it is put the same point across. When the potential at this point and this point is same, then there won't be any current flowing in this path, isn't it? I hope you know the networks. All right. So using this concept, that is taking the voltage divider network, finding the voltage across this point, and observing a condition when the drop across these 2 points is same, or in other words, VCD is equal to 0. Okay, or when there is no current flowing in this path, then we will check for a balanced condition of the bridge. Okay, what do we mean by balanced condition of the bridge? That means the resistance is connected here in this fashion, in this configuration, all are of same value. Okay, only when all are of same value, or if their ratios are same, that is ratios of these two resistors and the ratios of these two resistors are same, then the bridge will be in balanced condition. All right. So then the current flowing in this part will be 0, or the potential at this point will be equal to potential at this point. I will explain all these using equations. All right. So we will check for the balance condition of the bridge. So if the bridge is balanced, as I said, then if we know the values of say R1, R2 and R3, and we say we don't know the value of Rx, typically it would have been R4, right? So R4 is our unknown resistance. Rx we don't know. So knowing the ratio, using the balanced equation condition, we can always find the unknown resistance, isn't it? So this concept is used here in Wheatstone bridge. Let me explain how do we do that. So as I said, using the voltage divider, okay, apply voltage divider here, or in other words, calculate the voltage across point C and point D. So how do we do? So voltage divider means, say I want the voltage across C, means the voltage across R2 will be same as voltage at C, right? So using voltage divider equation, the voltage across C will be R2 by R1 plus R2 into this supply what you are connecting here, right? Say if it is V in, then the potential at R2 will be equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into V in. Okay, similarly, same way, this for this voltage divider network, the voltage at D would be, yeah, Rx by Rx plus R3 into V in. Okay, that is what is shown here. Sorry, this V in has vanished, I think. It has gone out of the slide here. Okay, so VC will be R2 by R2 plus R1 into V in, and VD will be Rx by Rx plus R3 into V in. There is V in there, please note that. Okay, so as I said, if the potential at these 2 points, if it has to be same, which means that VCD should be equal to VC minus VD, right? So when you substitute that, R2 by R1 plus R2 into V in minus Rx by Rx plus R3 into V in, all right? What do you get? Substituting, so taking that VCD is equal to 0, all right? Wherein VC should be equal to VD. That is what we are looking at, right? So potential at this point should be equal to potential at this point. So equating these two resistances or the equations, all right? See that what you are getting, V in will get cancelled here. So you will end up with R2 by R1 plus R2 will be equal to Rx by Rx plus R3. So cross multiplying, you will get R2 R3 is equal to Rx R2 plus Rx R1 minus R2 Rx. Please note down all these points. Okay, finally you will end up with R2 R3 is equal to Rx R1, where Rx will be equal to R3 into R2 by R1, which is nothing but our ratio. R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by Rx. Can you get that ratio here? R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by Rx. Correct? Yeah. So using that equation, we can always find the unknown resistance that is connected here. All right. So keeping this R1 and R2 say constant, say we know these values, keeping this constant. And if you are using a variable resistor at R3 arm, so if you go on varying this, adjust in such a way that the voltage at this point will be equal to this point, adjusting in a fashion where you will observe using the voltmeter, all right? So you can always find the unknown resistance. So simple method what we use in our lab is, we use a galvanometer here, okay? So galvanometer, why do we use that? Because we just now discussed that the current flowing in this path during the bridge balance condition will be 0, right? So if a galvanometer or an ammeter is connected here, then there should be no current flowing through the device, which is indicated by this galvanometer or ammeter. So that means there should be null deflection. There should not be any current. Ammeter or galvanometer will show us the amount of current flowing through that path, isn't it? So if there is no deflection at all, which means that there is no current flowing in this path. So we will use the ammeter here. So we'll look for null deflection. So when there is null deflection, that is indication to us that the bridge is balanced, right? So when the bridge is balanced, which means we will end up with this ratio, which we will use to measure the unknown resistance. Is it okay? Are you able to follow? Please acknowledge. You can just, can you acknowledge? Are you able to understand? Okay, fine. Yes. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, same way, uh, what I just explained, it is shown in the slides here. So if you set value, or if you take these arms as a known resistances here and connect one variable resistor in this arm and connect the unknown resistance in this arm, then go on varying the R3, adjust the voltage across this point and this point to be same, or look for null deflection in the ammeter. Okay, that is the procedure. So that's what I've shown here. Again, this slide indicates the same thing what I just now explained. Right? So you might ask, what is the need for the bridge? We can directly connect some multimeter or voltmeter like this and measure the resistance. Say this is strain gauge. I hope you are aware of strain gauge. What is a strain gauge? It's a device which changes its resistance when you apply force, or when this object is subjected to strain. Yeah. So whenever force is applied, its length varies, increases. So when length increases, there is variation in the resistance. So you might ask, oh, can't we just connect like this and measure? The reason is that such sensors, something like strain gauge, their change in resistances depends on temperature. Say for example, you are conducting something like this. Say at temperature 30 degrees, you have applied some amount of force to this strain gauge, and say it has indicated 20 as its resistance. Okay. So if you repeat the same experiment, say now at temperature 50, all right, you have applied the same amount of force to the strain gauge, then it might be indicating its resistance as 18. So which means that some sensors vary their characteristics with respect to temperature. So in that case, the way it is measured here is not accurate, right? So for that, we will use bridges. So in bridges, what happens? The resistance is connected in all other arms, and your unknown resistance all get subjected to change in the temperature, right? So that will give you accurate value to measure the change in the resistance. I hope you are able to understand and take the advantage of Wheatstone bridge. So using such sensors, you can measure, you can connect strain gauge to the Wheatstone bridge and measure the resistance. You can connect LDR. What is LDR? Light dependent resistor. And you can observe the change in resistance. Or you can connect thermistor, which is again a sensor whose temperature, resistance varies with the temperature. So such cases, you can connect Wheatstone bridge and measure the change in the resistances. All right. So let me go back to the manual. What I'll change screen. Just a moment. Where is my manual? Yes. Okay, this is a manual I've already shared with you in Canvas. So I'll just run through and I'll show you the way we have conducted the experiment. Okay, so the same circuit is shown here, but the explanation in the manual is slightly different in the sense here in the manual we are showing with respect to current. Okay, so observe here, the when voltage is applied, the current at this point will get splitted, right? I1 will be equal to I3. Okay, and I1 and I2 are same current flowing in this path, and I3 and I4 are same current flowing in this path. So using that condition, we have these equations. I1 R1 is equal to I3 R3. Okay. In the other arm, if you observe, I2 R2 will be equal to I4 R4. So according to basic networks, we know I1 and I2 will be same because it's the same current flowing in the path here. If you observe this circuit, okay, and I3 will be equal to I4. So substituting now I1 R2, that is in place of I2, I'll be substituting I1. I1 R2 is equal to I3 R4. Okay, I'm just showing you how we are ending up with the balance equation. All right. So substituting I1, I3 in place of I2 and I4, we'll end up with this equation. R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4, which is our balanced equation. Balance equation of the bridge. All right. So as I said, if R4 is your unknown resistance, then using this ratio or the balance equation, we call this as balance equation, you can find the R4 or the Rx unknown resistance, right? So Wheatstone bridge, typically it is used to measure the resistances, that is change in resistance, where the resistance value can vary from 1 ohms to 10 kilo ohms. Okay, so typically using this Wheatstone bridge network, you can measure the unknown resistance whose value can vary from 1 ohms to 10 kilo ohms. All right, so that is what is this Wheatstone bridge about. And Kelvin bridge looks something like this. All right, so it's slightly a modification of the same Wheatstone bridge. Only difference is this small p and small q are the extra arms. All right, so capital P, capital R, and capital Q and capital S forms the basic Wheatstone bridge, whereas the small p, small q are the extra arms. All right, and if you observe, there is one more connection here, small r, which is a simple lead, which increases the accuracy of this bridge. All right. So mainly the Kelvin bridge is used to measure the resistance values less than 1 ohms. Okay, less than 1 ohms, it can measure up to 1 micro ohms as well. So very small resistance values can be measured using Kelvin bridge, and because of this extra connections here, it can give very accurate value. All right, so the balanced equation of I have shown here the final balance equation of Kelvin bridge. All right, you can go through the theory part in the networks, or if you want, I'll provide it for you. So substitute in this balance equation, substituting the ratio, substituting the ratio P by Q, that is capital P by capital Q, equal to small p by small q, you will end up with R is equal to P by Q into S. So we will use this equation to measure the unknown resistance. All right. So explanation of all these, the conduction of the experiment and the values of R, P, Q, S, all resistance values are showed and demonstrated in the demo, which is already available on Canvas. The circuit connection is also shown there. Final tabulation is what you have to do is, see, using, this is your table which you will be actually tabulating. So in the Wheatstone bridge, what are the values? I think these 3 columns are not there. It's not there. You can remove this. You can only tabulate the actual and measured values. That is enough, right? So this table is enough. So using Wheatstone bridge, what's the actual value of the unknown resistance and measured value using the balance equation condition. And even in Kelvin, what's the actual value of the Rx and what was the measured value. So you will find the difference in the percentage difference of actual and the measured value. All right. So please go through the demo videos. If you have any doubt, you can always ask on Canvas or you can send WhatsApp messages. I hope it is clear. You have any doubt in today's discussion about bridges? The manual is shared again for your information. It's there available on Canvas. Go through the manual, the circuit connection, explanation of theory, it is all done. And even in demo, I've shown how to do the connection and how to conduct the experiment. Any queries at this point? Can anyone speak up? You can unmute and ask questions if you have any doubts. 95 of you are here. No doubt? Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. In Wheatstone bridge, Rx is equal to R3 into constant was written. It is constant. That ratio R2 by R1. 1 second, let me go to that slide. It is just that this ratio R2 by R1, if it is constant, say if you have taken fixed resistances, then it will be constant, right? So using that, just if you have connected a variable resistor R3, then just vary R3 so that you will adjust the voltage at this point or adjust the current here. So current should be 0. That is our condition. Got it? I didn't see who asked the question. Meghana. Yeah. Are you convinced, Meghana? Yeah, okay. Okay, no problem. Any other doubts? Any other queries? Do you want me to share the PPT as well? Yeah, I can share, no problem. Yeah. Any doubts? I hope you're attentive. Are any problem with the understanding experiments? Are you happy with this online mode? Are you going through all recorded sessions of the experiments? Or are you facing any problem in any of the experiments? Yeah, the question is posed to all 95 people here in the meeting. If there is no problem, respond, say something. You can unmute and speak, right? I hope your microphone's okay. Yeah, no problem. All right. Okay, once you are back, you can conduct all the experiments here live in your laboratories, provided you go through all the sessions and be ready with the theory and the background information. Okay. Please go through. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask doubts. Okay. We are here to help you out. Okay, then shall we end the session? Is there any other query? Okay, then we'll end the session. All right. Please go through the demo videos that I have posted. If you find any difficulty in understanding the demo there, please get back. Okay. All right. I'll end the session. See you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'll end the session.